Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you, or determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has been committed, and more likely than not that you're the person who's committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, we presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release today, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is several assistant state attorneys in the courtroom with me today. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. We'll have Luigi Barrio.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Matt Foreman here on behalf of Mr. Barrio.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ronald Lewis, State Attorney's Office, standing in for the State Attorney's Office.
Mr. Barrio, what's your date of birth?
April 10, 1981.
All right, so you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Angelitis. Judge Angelitis found probable cause for 4 counts, 1 count of human trafficking, 1 count of conspiracy to commit human trafficking, 1 count of unlawful use of a two-way communication device, and 1 count of lewd and lascivious battery. All right, so, Mr. Foreman, anything you want to tell me?
There's plenty of things I would like to tell you. May it please the court. The first, Your Honor, is my client is being held on 4 charges, as you indicated. There were bond amounts previously listed well in excess of the bond schedule on 2 of the counts. One was the lewd and lascivious, the other being the third-degree felony. The bond schedule dictates on the third-degree felony nothing in excess of $5,000. On the lewd and lascivious, I believe it would be $10,000, Your Honor. So there's an issue there. In addition, they've asked that my client be held with no bond on 1 count of the human trafficking and $500,000 on the other. I'm assuming on the basis that these are PBLs, Your Honor, but there's numerous PBLs throughout the bond schedule that have bonds around $20,000 to $50,000, which I think would be significantly more reasonable. I'm flying blind a little bit, Your Honor, because the warrant, to the best of my knowledge, is sealed. I don't even believe the State Attorney's Office has the probable cause affidavit. My understanding is that it's lengthy. All I've seen that's attached, may I borrow that from you, is this, Your Honor. Right. So I don't know the exact nature of all of the allegations other than the charges. I do know that the Sheriff's Office and the Attorney General held a press conference. They've done a press release. They indicated that the human trafficking charges were the result of an investigation into an anonymous tip regarding individuals responding to an online ad posted on various internet websites offering sex for money, which sounds like, in the light most favorable to the state, respectfully, Your Honor, a solicitation case. We believe they've grossly overcharged this based on the facts. As a result, we're asking for the court to reduce the bond. There's a number of reasons the court should reduce the bond to something significantly more reasonable. Those bonds are unreasonable, respectfully, Your Honor, so to something reasonable. The first is that my client has strong ties to the community. He's a U.S. citizen. He's lived here for a number of years. He owns businesses in the villages of Ocala, Tampa Bay, and here in Hernando. His wife lives here. His child lives here. He has multiple friends and family members who are willing to put up their homes as bond for his release. And I'm working through the statutory factors, Your Honor. Next, I believe he's resided in this community for at least 8 years. He's self-employed. In addition to that, he doesn't have any prior convictions. My understanding, and like I said, I'm flying blind, but based on what I've seen in the press release and everything like that, the occurrences here probably occurred somewhere around 2 years ago. And I think that's important because my client hasn't had any other criminal issues in the 2 years since this supposedly occurred. The sheriff's office, in the information they released, indicated that the victim is currently, quote, well outside the Tampa Bay area, probably better to say paraphrase, and is currently in a shelter for human trafficking. So the basis of the entire set of human trafficking charges appears to be that somebody else may have been trafficking this individual, and that my client responded to an online ad for a prostitute. I mean, that's what I'm gathering from the information that's been shared. The warrant's sealed. We don't have an affidavit. I can't even attack the probable cause at this point, which leaves us with, the probability of danger to the community. He's not any danger to the victim. The victim's in an undisclosed area. He has, like I said, no prior criminal interactions. There's no reason for him to flee, primarily because his family's house is going to be put up for bond. We've already arranged for a bondsman who to be here, who will monitor his pretrial release, and obviously she has a vested interest in making sure he shows up. Jen, would you please stand up? Jen Gilliam from Jen's Bail Bonds, just so the court knows I'm not bluffing on that issue. There's no, as far as I know, there's no seizure, there's no anything like that, so there's no issue as it relates to the source of the funds for bond or anything like that. Like I said, there's no drugs involved. There's no probability of intimidation or danger to the victims because she's somewhere else that's being hidden away. And as we sit here now, Your Honor, I don't see any grounds for why the bond a bond shouldn't be instituted on one of the charges. My client should be released, and that the total bond should be somewhere around $100,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis.
Your Honor, again, Rob Lewis representing the state. It's my understanding the statewide prosecutor is going to handle the prosecutions because these cases crossed numerous jurisdictional lines. First of all, what Mr. Foreman said was correct in terms of the lack of a prior history from what I can see in looking at the NCIC. However, these charges, specifically human trafficking, would certainly fall under the pretrial detention statute, what would constitute a dangerous crime. I can't speak for the statewide prosecutor's office. I would ask that the court keep this in no bond to give them an opportunity to go ahead and file a pretrial detention motion should they choose. That can be filed at any time during the prosecution. So what I would ask the court to do is find probable cause in this matter, keep the bonds the same, assign it to whatever felony court that this is going to rotate to, and in that instance, Mr. Foreman can go ahead and file a formal bond motion in front of that particular court, and it would give statewide prosecutor a chance to file a pretrial detention motion.
Well, I mean, just so we're clear, the probable cause has already been determined. That Judge Angelitis determined that when he signed the warrant. I think the more interesting issue to me is these folks, and I'm sure I'm going to hear the same thing from Ms. Caratinos, they have not had a chance to see the affidavit. And do you have some idea when they're going to get to see that and how that's going to happen? Because in all candor, Mr. Foreman said he's flying blind. I've seen the affidavit, and there's obviously a lot of information in the affidavit that is not on the face of the warrant.
Right.
And so it's hard for him to make an argument, and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go with it as far as statewide is concerned with the contents of that affidavit.
Correct.
So do you know when they get to see it, and how do we make that happen?
I have not been afforded that information. What I would ask, though, is if this is, first of all, what court is this going to be signed? Is this going to be a Judge Merritt case, or is it going to be a Judge Toner case?
This is going to Judge Merritt.
Okay. Judge Merritt's trial week is next week. What I would suggest, given the nature of these cases, we could set a hearing in this trial week. We could set it over for Judge Merritt next week. That would give our office a chance to contact statewide, have them show up for a they would be able to do that, give that information. The lead detective is present for, however, I don't know the appropriateness at this point of having her testify to the court, since probable cause has been determined, what the actual facts of the case is. And if she has information regarding the particular defendants, we can certainly do that.
Because here's Mr. Foreman, and also for you, Ms. Caratinos. Obviously, Judge Angelides had the benefit of the 60-some-odd page affidavit when he signed the warrant. I've had the benefit of seeing that affidavit before I came out here today. I believe, but certainly it would be the case for me, I believe for Judge Angelides it was the same thing, is that the no bond on that first charge is probably pursuant to Rule 3.131, which says when proof is evident and presumption great, that in a life felony there can be no bond. I think that's what's going on. You guys don't have the benefit of that as we stand here this morning for this afternoon for first appearance. If I can put it on Judge Merritt's calendar for next week, that would be my preference. I would leave the bonds where they are right now, which means no bond on that first count. But I want them to get into court quickly, so that they can be in front of the judge that's handling this, and so that they can have they need to see that affidavit, obviously.
And right now, I'm not asking you to sit out 30 days and let it stew in that capacity. I have a trial set in front of Judge Merritt next week. I know he's going to be here. I can go down this week.
What are your trial dates next week? You know when you're going.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but there's other matters before the court. So I think he's going to be going most of the week. I can't speak for Judge Merritt, but I know he's accommodating in terms of if there needs to be a few minutes break for a bond issue such as this.
Well, it might be more than a few moments, and if he's unhappy, obviously he gets to be unhappy with me and not you.
May I have a moment of brief rebuttal, Your Honor?
Just 1 second.
Yes,
the answer will be yes. Clerk and friends, can you tell me what's going on Judge Merritt's calendar next week?
Your Honor, he does have trials, I believe, every day.
Okay, I guess what I'm looking for is how many different trials is that, and what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Because if it's a felony, well, it's... yeah.
Your Honor, he has 5 scheduled. 2 on Monday, 3 on Wednesday.
There's one suggestion, or one entertain it. You can pass these. I can run downstairs and talk to Joyce, see what the barometer is.
I think what I'm going to do is probably set it for Thursday morning, and that way you guys have a chance, pending what I hear from Mr. Foreman here, everybody would have time.
Okay.
Hopefully, and then if Judge Merritt wants to be unhappy with me, he has a chance to do that and to tell you guys it's going to be something else. But I'm concerned about these folks not having access to the facts that Judge Angelides have and that you had and that I have. And in order to really make an argument that's cogent and responsive to the facts, they should be able to see them.
Understood.
Okay. Mr. Foreman.
Your Honor, they had 2 years during this investigation by their own admission to handle this. They've let my client out in the community for the last 2 years. They could have, at the time they filed these charges, they could have pursued this line, and they haven't, because my client's not a danger to the community, Your Honor. I would also consider the fact that there's far less restrictive ways to handle this, respectfully, Your Honor. They're talking about pretrial detention. There's other PBLs that are on the bond schedule, and the court made an argument, or a finding at least, as to what the bond was that was put on there. And multiple bonds, one of the bonds is 10 times what the bond schedule is. So, respectfully, as to what somebody else found the bond to be, if they've already exceeded the bond schedule, respectfully, I think it's unreasonable. So, I don't see why, with the state not providing a warrant, not providing an affidavit, a sheltered victim, right? We don't even know who the witnesses are at this point, but I'm assuming they're pretty much going to be law enforcement or co-defendants. Why my client would be held in pretrial detention when he's not a flight risk, he has the ability to post bond, he's got a family here. At the end of the day, this is a political stunt. It's overcharged. They held a press conference where I read to you the press release that they issued. They indicated that this was because that gentleman sitting right there, Your Honor, responded to an online ad. They said that, Your Honor. They can't get around it. It's in the public record.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to leave the bonds per the warrant, which is no bond on account 1. And the other 4 counts are at $500,000, $100,000, and $50,000 respectively. But then I'm going to set it for 9 a.m. on Thursday, which is May
23rd, Your Honor.
23rd, right in front of Judge Merritt.
We want somebody to...
Thank you, Mr. Foreman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Burrill, I'm sure Mr. Foreman will be out to see you. He'll be back in court next Thursday morning. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. Matthew Doyle.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Keely Caratinos here on behalf of Matthew Doyle.
Mr. Doyle, what's your date of birth?
1180.
Mr. Doyle, you're also here on a warrant signed by Judge Angelitis, who found probable cause for 1 count of human trafficking, 1 count of conspiracy to commit human trafficking, 1 count of unlawful use of a 2-way communication device, 1 count of lewd and lascivious battery. And Ms. Caratinos, I apologize. You're coming in second, and you're at a disadvantage, even worse than Mr. Foreman. But anything else that you want to tell me?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right.
So, in addition to it being a 2-year investigation, it is clear that based on the arrest being at the same time, on the same date, in multiple counties, according to the press release, there were arrests in Gilchrist, Marion, Palm Beach County, Citrus, Hernando, Pasco. This was a concerted effort to round up all the people that have allegedly committed a crime. The statewide prosecutor had the opportunity to file a motion for pretrial detention, and according to, well, I don't have access to any of the court records because they're not online, just like Attorney Foreman just mentioned. There's a voluminous probable cause affidavit that we do not have. We don't have access to the arrest warrant or the sworn affidavit. And I'm not aware of a motion for pretrial detention even being filed. So they've had all of this time to do it. Now they're not. They haven't done it prior to the arrest. And, Your Honor, according to the bond schedule, PBLs have, in Hernando County, according to the administrative order, have bonds anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000. I don't understand why this is different. You have a punishable by life murder that has $50,000 bond schedule.
Right, and I will repeat with you what I was saying to Mr. Foreman is having had the benefit of seeing the affidavit, I believe if it were me determining probable cause this afternoon based on what I read in the affidavit, that I would be comfortable finding pretrial detention now under 3131 with presumption evident proof grade. I would make those findings. I don't know what Judge Angelitis thought. I know he saw the same affidavit, I can only presume that that's what he thought. I don't know what they told him in addition to that. I have no idea. I'm just telling you that I believe that as we sit here today. I also think it's a problem that you guys haven't seen the affidavit, which is why I want to set this so quickly, because you guys need to be able to see that affidavit and make a much more effective argument about bond in front of the judge who's going to hear it. So, I mean, we'd normally be going out 30 or 40 days on this. And so I'm doing what I can and probably upset Judge Merritt in the process, but I've done that before. So, anything else you'd like to tell me?
And I just, again, so the record's clear, a pretrial detention motion can be made at any time during. It certainly can be filed pre-arrest, but it can certainly be filed post-arrest as well.
Well, and we're all know that. What I'm saying to you guys is that and I'm a stickler about that. I hate no bond warrants, but this is one where I'm comfortable with it. So enough to hold them for a week, and so that's what I'm going to do. All right. So same thing for Mr. Doyle. I'm going to leave the bonds for the warrant, which is no bond on the human trafficking, $500,000 on the conspiracy, $100,000 on the lewd and lascivious, and $50,000 on the 2-way device. Also set it for 9 a.m. Thursday morning, the 23rd of May, 2019.
Thank you. The PC, the July PC on the First Amendment.
This, see that?
You were saying about the first one for Mr. Foreman, Mr. Burrill?
Oh, Oh, this thing? Oh, that's yours. Okay, right.
Maybe excuse your honor.
Yes, of course.
Have a good
Judge,
afternoon.
that's all the business I have. May be excused.
Yes.
Address, counsel, these two cases.
I believe Ms. Carantino's appearance is limited to the purposes of these hearings here for bond. I don't know if they're going to file in for the entire case. Mr. Foreman told me that they were going to file in for Mr. Luigi, Mr. early.
Okay, do you know, Keely?
I will let Mr. Starkey know by the end of the day.
Okay, Mr. Doyle, if you're unable to retain the services of Ms. Caratino's office, you're always entitled to have the public defender. All you would have to do is ask, and we would get you a public defender right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Carantino, you'll be appearing next week further on this case?
I will call you this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Judge. That concludes my business.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Thanks.
Well, my offices.
And Juan Carlos, is there somebody on the docket for you?
Yes, Your Honor. It's Michael Baladron.
Michael Baladrone.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cuál es su fecha de nacimiento?
6 de noviembre de 1986.
November 6th of 1986.
Sir, I have a warrant for you out of Polk County.
Señor, tengo una orden de detención suya del condado de Polk.
The warrant contains 8 counts.
La orden de detención incluye 8 puntos de cargos.
And the judge had signed that warrant, found probable cause for those charges.
Y el juez que lo firmó halló motivo fundado para esas acusaciones.
And set your bond at no bond.
Y le fijó fianza en no fianza.
So what we will do is notify the folks in Polk County that you're here and ready to go.
Así que lo que vamos a hacer es que le informaremos a las personas del condado de Polk que usted está aquí y listo para ir.
They'll have 5 days to come get you.
Tendrán 5 días para venirlo a recoger.
And if you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me and I'll find out why they haven't picked you up.
Y si todavía usted estuviese aquí en 5 días, lo traerán frente a mí y entonces averiguaremos por qué no lo han venido a recoger.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Bien, gracias, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Tracy Peterson. Ms. Peterson, what's your date of birth? You have to get a little closer to the microphone.
4380.
Ms. Peterson, I have 2 charges today: possession of controlled substance and felony possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for the charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender? I didn't hear you.
Oh, defender.
There you go. I'll appoint the public defender. State, what can you tell me?
Your Honor, in 2018, she has a withhold on a reckless driving, as well as she had a PTI for possession of hydrocodone, alprazolam, and drugs without a prescription in 2016 out of Pinellas.
Okay. Chrissy, I have an address for you on Bream Drive in Hudson. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About 3-4 weeks.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I'm a housekeeper.
Okay. And set your bond at $1,000 on each count, so that's a total of $2,000. I'm going to have you back in court on June 11th. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is-
Go ahead. You have a
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir. I was going to see if I can be RO'd.
Well, I cut it in half, Chrissy. That's the best I'm going to do, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what day, Judge?
What's that?
What day was it set for?
6/11. Thank you, Judge. 11. Is there something else, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could.
Sure.
Both of our cases.
You're right. I just contacted Assistant State Attorney Lewis, asking him to come back into the courtroom if we can readdress the court on the
Okay.
case.
We just want to address the timing of when we're provided with the warrant. The affidavit.
Oh, okay. All right. Nathaniel Akins. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
February 9th, 1982.
All right, sir, you have a charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Your Honor, in 2018, he had a violation of probation for an adjudication of possession of paraphernalia in 2017, as well as driving while license suspended, his second offense, and a DUI. In 2015, he has an adjudication for disorderly conduct, as well as a resisting an officer without violence and a drunk battery. It looks like he also has a failure to appear, which occurred on a case in 2010, a couple other driving while license suspended, and a withholding of worthless check.
Okay. All right. And Nathaniel, I've got an address for you on Oakdale Avenue in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Been a couple of days. I just moved from my Drury Lane address.
Okay. And Miss Mercado lives with you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
I was working with Steve DeBoer's Roofing. I just did my second interview with Lumagard, and I was supposed to be going for a drug screening today. See if he can hire me.
Okay. All right. We'll set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond, however, is that you have no contact with Miss Mercado. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She might go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She might tell them she's not interested in this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or your lawyer or your judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. We got to hold it today up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because in that case, not only would you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as that address on Oakdale goes, as long as she stays there, you'll have to find somewhere else to stay until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to do that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They would meet you there with a deputy who'd stand by while you collected your things and got going where you're going. If you're back in court on the 5th of June, very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Tammy Petrea. Afternoon, Tammy. What's your date of birth?
6/13/98.
Tammy, this is a warrant that was signed by Judge Scaglione. He found probable cause for a charge of trespass. As to this charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD state. I think she has another charge pending.
Your Honor, here I see that she had a withhold on a trespass and an adjudication on carrying a concealed weapon in 2017.
Okay.
It looks like maybe something's pending in another
She
county.
has an open trespass here, actually.
Okay.
But the offense date on the one that's open is after the offense date on the warrant. So,
I do know that the state has reached out to the owner of the residence
okay.
and has not been able to make contact yet.
All right. Right. Tammy, I got an address for you at the Green Key Hotel at Newport Richie. Is that where you're staying these days?
No, my grandma stays there. The route trespass, that's where I was staying for 6 months with my boyfriend.
Wow. Do you have an address where you get mail?
My boyfriend's mom's house, where I trespass at.
Do you know the address?
8504 North Cliff Boulevard.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Leave the bond for the warrant, which is $500. I'll set it at $500. It's not for the warrant. You'll be back in court on this one. When's your other one coming back? June 5th. This one's coming back June 5th. That's the same as your other. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Reappointed by Judge.
I think so.
6-5, you're appointed.
Thank you.
I think you're on both of them. Jacob Grants. Afternoon, Jacob. Date of birth?
9/29/97.
All right, Jacob. This morning this afternoon, a warrant out of Pasco. Bond on the warrant is the judge found probable cause and set a bond of $4,000. As far as this case is concerned, if you could bond out on this one, then you can take yourself down to Newport Richie, find out when they want you in court. If you're unable to bond out on this one and you're free to get out of here, then I'd give Pasco 5 days to come get you. If they hadn't picked you up in 5, they'd bring you back to see me. In that case, it never takes that long with Pasco. It usually happens the next day. But that's it on this one, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Daniel Macedo. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
November 18th, 1999.
Daniel, you're here on 2 charges: possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. State.
Just see this, Your Honor.
Daniel, I have an address for you on Lawrence Street in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
About 2 years.
Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
Are you in school?
Yes, sir.
Where do you go to school?
Central High School.
You due to graduate this month?
Yeah.
Are you gonna graduate?
I mean, that's the plan.
Well, that was obtuse. All right. You still live with your folks?
With my father.
Okay. I'll release you on your own recognizance on these charges. You'll be back in front of me on the 5th of June. Very important that when you get out, you contact the public defender. When you come see me on the 5th of June, we'll find out if you graduated. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Victor Madison. Afternoon, Victor. What's your date of birth?
3/20/1977.
All right, Victor, you're here on a warrant I signed because you failed to appear in my court on a charge of driving under the influence. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
The public defender is already speaking.
I'll point the PD. State.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, it says 5,000. This is second FTA.
So he has this open DUI, he had a violation of probation in 2010. There's some drop charges out of Hillsborough for possession of controlled. He had an adjudication for possession of paraphernalia and a possession of cocaine. And a dropped battery and dropped aggravated assault in 2006.
Okay.
There's also out of state. Should I
Okay.
maybe go through that?
No, and this case only goes back to January. And Victor, you failed to appear in front of me twice already since January.
Yeah, I had a mix-up with the...
Well, don't stop right there. I don't want you to say anything else about it, but I want you to understand that you're going to get another court date in front of me, and you've got to appear. There's no more room for mix-ups. This is ridiculous. Okay, you've only been on the docket 4 months. You've failed to appear twice. Okay, I'm starting to think you don't want to see me. All right, I'll set the bond, Victor, at $2,000. I'll have you back in court on the 5th of June. When you get out, you're going to contact the public defender, and the only place you're going to be on June 5th is in courtroom B, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Kenneth O'Neill. Afternoon, Mr. O'Neill. What's your date of birth?
5/19/1988.
So you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Scaglione. He found probable cause for one count of domestic battery by strangulation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Appoint the PD, state what can you tell me?
Your Honor, there's an adjudication in 2017 for battery. There's also 2 violations of probation in Pasco County, or failure to appear. Failure to appear in Pasco, a failure to appear in Hernando, both in January of 2016. He was released from DOC in 2015 for adjudication of possession of paraphernalia, possession of controlled substance, and violations of probation subsequent to that. He was released from DOC in 2011 for adjudication and dealing in stolen property, an adjudication of misuse of a two-way communication device, possession of controlled substance, possession of methamphetamine, intent to sell methamphetamine. Those were in 2011. In 2008, he had a withhold on a possession of cocaine. 2007, a violation of probation that stemmed from, looks like possession or carrying concealed weapon.
Okay. Mr. O'Neill, where are you living these days?
I was staying on Wildwood where the incident happened, but I got a new place.
Okay, what's the address of the new place?
I don't know the exact address, but I know the road.
What road's it on?
Root Road.
Okay, is that in Hernando County?
Yes, it's out by 75 and 50.
Okay. You have a job?
I'm going to work. I'm starting to work with my stepdad.
Okay, what are you going to be doing?
Like home impairments,
Okay.
repairments,
Okay.
drywall.
I'm going to set your bond at $5,000. Condition is that you have no contact with Miss Rodriguez. Were you listening when I explained what no contact meant?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Also going to hold you till 4 p.m. So that if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. You'll be back in court on June 11th. Very important that you contact the public defender's office if you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Lloyd Pryor. After Mr. Pryor, what's your date of birth?
8580.
Sir, you're here on 3 charges: possession of controlled substance, felony possession of marijuana, and a retail theft. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
We'll try public defender.
Appoint the public defender, state.
As recently as 2018, he was adjudicated on driving while license suspended, second or subsequent offense. He had one in 2013, as well as an adjudication for petty theft in 2013. It was reduced from a grand theft. He had a violation of probation in 2011, a withhold in 2010 on attempting to obtain a controlled substance by fraud. There's also a withhold in 2010 for the same offense. Looks like it was in Pinellas County. And that's all I see.
Sir, I have an address for you on Beagle Road in Hudson. Is that where you live?
No, I recently moved to Green Drive. I don't know the numerical portion. I just moved like 2 years.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I do home remodeling. Also, I'm a single parent. I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Okay. I'll leave the bond on the controlled substance at $2,000, on the marijuana at $1,000, the retail theft $1,000. Your total is $4,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 11th of June. If you get out, very important that you contact the public defender, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Thank you.
Brian Silverstone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
January 15th, 1985.
Here on one count of written threat to kill or injure. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
Appoint the PD, state.
Looking at his history, I don't see any adjudications, but he has a drop disorderly conduct in 2015, and in 2018 a drop domestic violence battery.
And Brian, I have an address for you on Oak Tree Lane in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
7488.
You have a
Yes,
job? You have a job these days?
No, not at the moment because I was wholesaling cars, so now I've gone into bartending schools because of my Crohn's. So I'm going to continue the school and then go become a bartender.
Okay.
Is there any way that my bond can be reduced?
I'm gonna reduce it. I'm gonna reduce it to 2,000. Condition
Thank
of the
you
bond
very much.
is that you have no contact with Robert Triola. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yeah, he didn't even want to press this on me. I know I'm not supposed to talk to him. I won't talk to him.
All right, very good. I'm going to have you back in court on the 11th of June. If you get out, it's
Yes,
very
sir.
important that you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck. And then at the jail, I've got some paperwork here about a fugitive from Louisiana, Alvin Esquilin. What's going on with Alvin?
Your Honor, he's actually not a fugitive from justice. He's a violation of parole out of Louisiana. Our probation office has been working with them. They're refusing to cooperate, and I believe Judge Ruppy was going to request that he be released.
Okay. Well, I'm going to
He's been in
request...
custody since
Okay. He's been here a long time, right?
April 3rd.
Okay. Well, I'm going to release him then. So Alvin just doesn't take care of your problem in Louisiana, all right? And
No.
so if you walk out the door and start hoofing down Spring Hill Drive and get arrested for littering, they're going to bring you right back and start this process over again because there's still that problem in Louisiana. They just are not doing anything about it with me or with us, and so I'm not going to keep you in jail for them for the rest of your life. But if I were you, I'd find a way to get a Greyhound ticket and get to Louisiana and get this taken care of, all right?
All right, sir.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Lewis said he was coming?
May it please the court, Your Honor, Keely Caratinos here on behalf of my client. I've been in contact with Mr. Lewis, and I asked him to come back several times.
Yeah.
He has been responding that he's in contact with the statewide prosecutor. However, he hasn't said whether or not he would be returning to court. I informed him of our intent to address the court about getting a date specific.
You want to do me a favor and text him and say I asked if he would come back?
Okay.
Maybe that'll help.
We're just looking.
Oh, no, I understand exactly what you want. And,
Yeah, we want
and
the
my
warrant.
guess is
We want the-
he's
yeah.
trying to find out, so.
They removed your client.
That's okay. We're setting a date for you guys, time for you guys, it's not for them. I mean, obviously, we'll wait for Mr. Lewis, but I certainly would be of the opinion that you guys ought to have 48 hours at least prior to a hearing time.
We'd like it by Monday.
I'm with you. And I'm not sure what the holdup is, so.
And I won't speculate.
Right. Not our job. Do I have to sign a strip order on the guy from Louisiana?
Mr. Perlman's probably going to be coming in on this case with me. So he'll be present at that motion.
I'm surprised statewide didn't bother to show up. But
Too busy with the press conference. We're on record.
We are now. Hi, Rob.
I'm here. That's great to be back.
But
I have less information than I had before.
Well, you know, they walked out the door and realized that there was no timeline for when they might see a probable cause affidavit. Anything you can shed on that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have asked Detective Morale and Conrad to contact Julie Circus with the State Prosecutor's Office is handling this. We have called and left a message. We haven't heard back yet. What I will tell you is if I hear something today, I'll contact both of you and let you know. If they give me copies of it, I'll email it to you.
Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a deadline.
Okay.
I wanted them to have it no later than 48 hours before the hearing, which would be Tuesday morning. They'd like it sooner.
Sure.
But just so we're not walking out of here open-ended.
I got you.
They're getting it at 8 in the morning on Thursday, which is what they're concerned about, obviously.
10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Tuesday
9
morning.
a.m. Tuesday, yeah,
Thank
which
you.
would be the 21st, right?
I will pass that information on.
Yeah, and let statewide know if they wanted something else, you know, if they could have come.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, we're adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.